Hey, what's up, everybody? So I just had a passing thought, thinking about the Golden State Warriors and what their options are. And, given that they want to win now, I would not be surprised at all if they trade the pick. I kind of think it's 50-50 at this point in my mind. Having not heard anything about it, just don't know what they're thinking. But to me, it seems like, it would be wise for them to take a center. Wiseman is somebody that would fit in right away, no issue, and get going. But for me, it's like, okay, now that Edwards has said what he said, clearly Minnesota would be wise not to take him. I don't know how they feel about that. Maybe they trade the pick and that person takes him. Who knows? But if he falls to Golden State, I'm starting to think it's a good idea for Golden State to take him, to take Edwards. The reason why I'm thinking it would be a decent idea for Golden State to take Edwards because I think Edwards wants to play for Golden State. I think he wants to be in a situation where he's winning. He wants to be in a place where there's sunshine, a place where he can live that's not going to be cold. I think he's trying to get his way out of Minnesota. I really do. I think he's trying to get his way out of Minnesota, and I think there would be absolutely no reason for him to not want to play in Golden State. That's just stuff from his angle. What does it do for Golden State? Well, first of all, you get ridiculed for not taking Wiseman. That's the first thing that happens. Don't get it twisted. You get ridiculed for not taking Wiseman or Ball. But the truth is, in my mind, Edwards is the number one player in the draft. I have him at number one after doing a little homework. I love Ball, but you just can't pass up on Wiseman's physique, his body, his athleticism, his strength. That's you don't play around with that. When you get one of those different type of athletes in the game, that kind of transcends skill in some cases. If they're good enough of a basketball player, you have a Giannis effect. No one's accused Giannis of being the most skilled basketball player in the game, but you're still taking him over a lot of skilled guys because he just has a better body than them. And that's the kind of situation we're dealing with Edwards. He has the best body in the draft. So you got to take him. But the thing about it is, for Golden State, I just feel like looking at their roster, they're lacking some athleticism. That's what just came to me. It's like, all this time I'm thinking, well, even if Edwards falls, the Golden State Warriors should either trade or Wiseman, but no, they should give some thought to taking Edwards and putting him on this roster because what he does is gives them a three in the open court. Now, can he shoot? No, he was shooting 20% from three last year. 29%, I think is what they said. Excuse me, not 20%. But he didn't shoot well from the three last year. So in theory, he's a player that runs streaky. When he gets hot, he can light it up on some other stuff. But just from game to game to game, you don't expect him to shoot very well from the 3-point line. That's what I'm saying to you. Sort of like, I'm thinking maybe like a Derrick Rose. When Derrick Rose gets hot from threes, he can hit 7 of them, like no problem. We've seen him get super red hot. But from game to game to game, Derrick Rose is not a 3-point shooter. He'll hit some shots, but that was never his thing to shoot a high percentage. Edwards is the same way in that regard. I look at him as a player who has that type of athleticism, and when you put that on the Golden State Warriors, that brings an entirely new threat for their roster that they don't have to offer right now. And then when I look at the Golden State Warriors trying to face up teams like the Nuggets against the Lakers, things like that, of course they need size, but I believe they can get size elsewhere. And for them, with the greatness around the shooters that they have, the need for certain plug-ins in terms of plugging in what needs to be plugged in for them, it's not as important because in theory, Steph and Clay should be able to shoot them their way into leads regardless. So you want to be able to throw as much different dynamics and stay as versatile as possible. I look at Draymond Green, and they're going to keep him because he's a legacy act. But the reality is, Draymond Green should have been traded for someone younger who could help them at the 4 spot or the 3 spot. Because when Kevin Durant left, they lost all of the athleticism that they had at the 3. They don't have a Harrison Barnes anymore. Now they got youngsters playing that position, and the players that they have are good. They're pretty solid, but they're not going to have that type of next level athleticism. And being that they've had injury issues at the 2 spot with Klay Thompson coming back from an injury, he hasn't played in 2 years. I don't know how much hop he's going to have. And even though Edwards is not a defender, what he is a next level body who can just get from point A to point B quicker than an average human being. You want that on the Golden State Warriors because that is ultimately what they lack, and that is not something that you can find on the waiver wire. You can go get you a center. You got plenty of centers coming up. You can probably grab Dwight from us if you pay him. But what you need to do is make sure that you find some athleticism, and I don't know how they acquire that. I don't see that anywhere in the waiver wire. And if they can't find it, they're going to have issues with some of the teams who have it. And that could be the difference between them winning and losing. So if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I'm giving some real consideration to picking up an athletic player in this draft. Edwards is a good idea. Okongwu, I've heard, is a really good idea. He's really athletic. Those are players I'm looking at if I'm the Warriors. Maybe even trading down if you want Okongwu. But as far as taking one of these top 3 players in the draft, Wiseman is an easy choice. But I just don't think they have the role to showcase him, justifying him to be taken at 2. That's my concern. Even though he'd be starting, he just wouldn't get the shots. He wouldn't get the looks. He wouldn't be featured like he would be featured if he played for, say, Charlotte. You see what I'm saying? Then you really get to see him be the number 2 spot. Does he win in Golden State? Yeah, but he's like the 4th option. He turns into DeAndre Jordan instead of maybe turning into David Robinson. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here for the kid. Now, in theory, that's all in theory. But I don't think Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or even Draymond have any intention of breaking up anytime soon. So you want somebody who's going to fit in and bring a dynamic to that team that they don't have and can't find. And that's Anthony Edwards. So if he's available, at this point, I think they should consider it. I'm not saying that's the number 1 move. I'm not saying that you just skip on Wiseman. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's warming up in my head. I'm leaning toward it more so right now as the draft comes closer, and I'd imagine other teams would be thinking the same thing. You know, it's just like, where am I going to find this athleticism? You know, who is giving that up if they have that? Nobody. If you look at the athletic players in the game, they're the players that these teams are trying to keep on their team. They're going all through everything they can to keep guys like Anthony Edwards on the roster. So you consider that tonight, draft night. And yeah, my name is BDF44. Thanks for watching. I'm out.